Hello everyone and welcome back to Racing Weekly, a podcast and YouTube show brought to you by Oddschecker in association with Bet365. Alongside me, Martin Dwyer and Steve Ryder after what was, I think, an excellent week of sport and horse racing, very much to the forefront. Martin, you were out and about the country but keeping an eye on all the very good racing, particularly at Newmarket. What did you think of the meeting overall, the July meeting?
I thought it was brilliant. I think it was everything we wanted to see. It's just so competitive, so much racing on, wasn't there? Of course, Ascot as well. So I actually spent most of Sunday catching up on everything. No, it was fantastic. Great to see Charlie Appleby bounce back to form.
Necessary for the season, isn't it?
Yeah.
That he comes back, because Aidan O'Brien's been such a dominant force this season.
I wouldn't say it's getting to the point where it was boring, but Aidan winning everything, it's not great for the sport, is it? We needed to be competitive, and yeah, good to see Charlie's team bounce back.
Steve, you were on site all the July festival. What did you think of it? Was it as good or better than in recent memory?
It was superb. Yeah, we obviously had great weather recently, which was good. The course was fantastic. There wasn't really any biases with regards to draw. Or,
everyone thought so after the first couple of races.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So actually, as soon as jockeys get that sort of thing in their head, it can be a self-fulfilling prophecy, I suppose. Martin touched on Godolphin. They had 5 winners from 14 runners. William Buick had a further 3 winners, as well as obviously Alto winning the Bunbury Cup. So yeah, it was good to see them bounce back, because they had a quiet Royal Ascot, didn't they? Not many runners, and now hopefully they'll be able to kick on for the remainder of the season.
Okay, and we will kick on with this week's racing recap. And of course we start at Newmarket, and the big race of the whole week, the July Cup. It went the way of Comanche Brave. First of all, Donnacha O'Brien, even though he was quiet, relatively quiet in terms of winners, he's having some big winners at home and abroad. Billy Loughnane, another big win for him as he chases the title. There are lots of elements to that, but how good was the horse in winning the July Cup?
It was the best, wasn't it? I think it was, for a sprint, I thought it was a really fairly run race. There was no hard luck stories. It was a true run race, and Comanche Brave just came out on top as the best horse, and probably the best around. But yeah, you mentioned Donnacha. What a trait. I mean, that family, just ridiculous how talented they are.
Well, you were saying about it being boring, but it's O'Brien. If it's not Aidan, it's Joseph, and now it's Donnacha.
Yeah.
But at least it's different O'Briens, though. That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm pleased for Donnacha, because he must be living in the shadow a little bit, his older brother. He's got a bit of catching up to do, but he's doing it. And Billy, the man on board, he's just a ridiculous talent, isn't he? He's lucky I'm not still riding, but what a talented young man. And he's just getting better and better. So composed.
He's slid into that void that you left very comfortably, hasn't he? Any hard luck stories in behind? Anything that you felt?
I don't think there was. I was a bit disappointed with Koppel. I thought when I watched it head on, he ran around a little bit under pressure. He just lost third spot, didn't he, to Satano Reeve. And I'm just wondering what went on with him, and whether we'll see him maybe with some headgear on or something. I don't know. He was the one horse I was scratching my head with. I thought he was going to finish out the race, and I thought he threw away third spot.
All right. What did you make of it? As Martin sort of mentioned, there are a few horses in behind. I don't think... Division, I think, was a bit exposed on the wing. I think he's better than that. Koppel, I'm not sure whether... I thought he was just slightly hampered, if anything.
Yeah.
Venetian Sun, ground. Is it a satisfactory result for you as a guide to the best sprinters?
If you look back at the Jubilee from Royal Ascot, Comanche Brave finished 7th. Obviously, his reverse form with Almerac, who won the race at Ascot, didn't really run his race here. Satano Rev, I think, has just run up to his form again. He's really consistent, and every single run, you know exactly what you're going to get with that. So I'd be in danger of saying that Comanche Brave has been underestimated. It's funny how well he travelled into the race. For a horse that had been running over sort of 7 furlongs and a mile previously, he was the horse that took your eye with how well he was travelling through the 6 furlong contest. And I was really impressed with what he did. I think you could probably upgrade Venetian Sun, given the fact that they were worried about her being in season during the week, and then slightly worried about the ground. So she was obviously a big drifter, but ran her race. And yeah, I think she's probably the one that I'd want to take out of it going forward for the remainder of the season.
Of all the sprinters that we have around for 6 furlong races, who's the best?
I wouldn't be surprised if Venetian Sun.
Still, yeah.
Because that is, records the record that stands, the last 3-year-old filly to win was in 1983. So she was up against it, coming in against the older horses. She obviously came into season. I thought she ran an absolute blinder. I think she'll get better as the season goes on. And, you know, she obviously ran the Guineas at the start of the season, but what a sprinter she's turning into. Sometimes you get to the point with the sprinters where they just beat each other at different days. But I feel she's going to get better and better.
Okay. Who's the best around? 6 furlong.
Yeah, I think Venetian Sun will be. I think she's going to head to France next over 6.5, and then she's got the likes of the Haydock Sprint Cup and probably the Champion Sprint at the end when they get a bit of juice in the ground as well. So her campaign is kind of mapped out from now.
What do we feel about Almarek? Does he want a bit more juice in the ground?
Well, I thought that's the thing with him, but also did you not think he saw too much daylight early on, and he did too much early on? I just felt the race was run in the first 2 furlongs for him.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. If he got much more cover at Ascot than he did at Newmarket. Obviously, the smaller field at Newmarket didn't play, and he broke well and he sat forward, and then suddenly he's seen a lot of daylight.
At least it was too bad to be true. If you finished kind of 6th or 7th in that race, you go, have we actually ran to form? Whereas his was clearly too bad to be true, finishing a lot further back than what the horses at Royal Ascot were. Still
keen on division, though. He was exposed on the outside, and he then changed his legs very late on before he sort of started picking up. But there's a big sprint in him, and I won't be giving up on him. Having a look at some of the other races from the July festival, Al Hudaiba and Abraham Lincoln, that was the big clash in the superlative. Both horses running well in defeat, various reasons still looking green. But did you feel that Al Hudaiba is going to prove to be the best of those horses going forward?
No, I'd probably have Abraham Lincoln over it, just because of the lack of experience. Obviously, the form of his Curragh Maiden win was boosted in the opener that day with Hafner winning in impressive style. So the form's there, and the step up and trip to 7 furlongs would have definitely suited. And I just thought he kind of got a bit lonely late on. I mean, they're 2 nice horses going forward. Al Hudaiba is obviously a bit quirky. He obviously unseated Tom Marquand at Yarmouth, but this was really good. He's now 3 from 3 at Newmarket tracks in his career, and he's definitely got something between the ears, hasn't he? But when he actually puts it all together, he's a very talented colt. Well,
those 2 colts are 16-1 second joint favourites for the 2,000 guineas with Bet365, for which Great Barrier Reef is 14-1. What do you think of Al Hudaiba? And obviously, as Steve mentioned, the run at Yarmouth where he unseated Tom. William Buick, obviously, with that in mind, going into the superlative.
Yeah, William would have been thinking about, no doubt. I think he's a very talented horse, Al Hudaiba. I think he's a lot better than Abraham Lincoln. I think he's just better, full stop. But that kink, that would always be a little bit of an issue. Will it raise its head somewhere along the line? William was actually quite lucky. I thought Abraham Lincoln, he came off a true line and drifted left and carried him to the rail. I think that helped him. Because when he won at Newmarket the time before, Zach Lloyd rode him, he went up the stands rail, he had a horse on his outside. I just wonder if we see him somewhere on a straight track with open daylight. I've ridden horses in the past that I've done that. I broke both my arms. It happened to me once, Mr. Breeders' Cup winner, and the filly that did it, she just did exactly the same as Al Hudaiba, off a straight line, you can't stay on board.
Is there any reason why they do that?
Honestly, don't know. And this filly, she was pretty decent, checked her out, couldn't find a way. She kept doing it on the gallops, had to be retired because she broke a lad's leg. And there's been a few horses that do it, and once they start doing it, it's very hard to get them out of it. I hope I'm wrong, but I think Al Hudaiba, he could be capable of doing something along the line. But the way he crossed the line, sometimes when I watch these 2-year-old races, I learn more after the winning post. And William couldn't pull him up. Abraham Lincoln pulled up in 2 strides. Very hot day. They'd both given everything. But Al Hudaiba went again. A bit like City of Troy used to do. When he won on his debut at Curragh, he ran into the boards after the race. I think he's a very talented horse. I think Al Hudaiba is a lot better. But mentally, I just have that bit of a quirk.
I think both Charlie and William Buick said that it'd be better on softer ground afterwards. They said that's definitely as quick as they'd want it for him.
But in case William needs a soft landing.
Yeah.
hopefully not, but I think he's an immense talent.
Yeah. You'd imagine they'll go for the national stakes in Ireland now, because they went that route with a couple of their winners. Quarto and Native Trail did that, didn't they? So.
And Zavateri did it last year, didn't he?
Zavateri did it as well.
Yeah, so it's kind of tried and trusted route. Obviously, it's nice to see Godolphin having some of the nice 2-year-olds come out, really, because yeah, like I said, I don't think they've had a runner in any of the 2-year-old races at Royal Ascot.
No, well, I'll stick to the 2-year-olds if that's all right, and talk about the July Stakes, because sharing second favourite position in the market with Bet365 for the 2,000 guineas is Inner City Blues, also at 16 to 1. And Inner City Blues beat A Day of Scarlet. He looks to me like he's still learning. I think it was only late on that he sort of got on the right lead and was more dominant, I think, in the performance than the official margin over A Day of Scarlet. What did you think?
I'd agree with that, because it was like William was teaching him. He's 2 from 2 now. Of course, he won at York. I think William gave up some rides somewhere else to go and ride him at York, and he was impressive there. It was a 3-horse race, which is a bit disappointing, but he's beaten a horse that was second in the Coventry, a horse with loads of experience and loads of boot, and I thought he did it really well in the City Blues, learning on the job. It was a good performance. William, early on, he took him back out the gates and made sure he sat in 3rd position, so I think he's got a lot of speed.
Yeah.
I think could well be more of a sprinter than a miler. I know it's early doors.
Yeah.
I can see him going for the gym crack.
Well, because he's obviously in the market for the... I'm with Martin. I think he's all speed. Looking through the pedigree as well, it's all 5-6 furlong speed on the downside. I like him a lot, but I see him as a middle park horse more than a Dewhurst.
Yeah, I'd be in agreement with that. It's funny seeing the two next to each other. Obviously, I was there looking at him in the parade ring. It's chalk and cheese. Like Inner City Blues is a big... You can see why he cost, I think, 900 grand as a breeze-up horse, but he's still learning on his job. You get a few of those breeze-up horses that know their job and they're straight on. But even at York, when he was sent off a short price, he was nudged along early, was green. William Buick's definitely been teaching him. And then you had A Day of Scarlet, who's this small, racy 2-year-old who's definitely going to be running a lot this year. Inner City Blues is a lovely prospect going forward. The only thing with, I know some firms have got Jim Crack betting out. I think they've got Nabati as well that won at Yarmouth.
Another Charlie Appleby horse.
Yeah, I think that might be their Jim Crack horse, which means you don't really know where they're going to head with this horse. But there's loads of options towards the back end of the year.
He's got an entry at Newbury, I think, this week, Nabati. Whether he takes it off, I'm not sure. I'll stick with the 2-year-olds again and talk about the fillies and the Duchess of Cambridge, because I thought this might be a really interesting guide to the future. Libertango was so impressive. I think a lot of people were talking about her as being probably the best sprinting 2-year-old around after the win at Ascot. But I thought beaten fair and square on the day by Senorita Bonita. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, she caught your eye at Royal Ascot, didn't she? Because she got checked 3 times, and maybe she just needs a bit more cover in a bigger field to see her to best. But Senorita Bonita arguably did more wrong and still was dominant at the finish. I mean, she was so keen. She'd raced over 5 furlongs in a couple of career starts. This was the step up to 6, which is the slight question mark. And they went a good pace here. Jolly Vet, I'd love to see back down to 5 furlongs. That's the second time now she's been too keen at the head of affairs over 6 furlong. But, I mean, this is just a Hampton compliment to Victorious, isn't it, from the Queen Mary, really. I'm surprised she's still a double-figure price for the Guineas next year, because given her pedigree, she's definitely going to stay further. Whereas Senorita Bonita, you'd imagine she's going to be a sprinter next year, and I think they're going to head to the Morney next.
Yeah, well, 8 to 1. With Bet365 for the 1,000 guineas Victorious. Alpha 9 to 1, who was very impressive on her second start for Aidan O'Brien when she won her daughter See the Stars. Senorita Bonita is 16s, Libertango's 20s. What did you make of the race? And do you see them going separate ways in terms of Senorita Bonita maybe being a bit more speedy ultimately?
Yeah, I think Senorita Bonita, I can't see her getting a mile. She's got a bit of stamina on the dam side, but she's Star Spangled Banner, and O'Sheen was good on her. He had to really contain her speed early. You could see him sat against her. I was watching it, and you could see him thinking, I don't want to change my hands and set her alight, because she looks like a filly. Once you light the touch paper, she's gone. Yeah. She's got way too much speed. I thought she was impressive. Libertango, I don't know whether... I mean, the course was riding, it was advantageous to be on the front end and going early, but Libertango maybe just went that fraction early and gave the winner a bit of a lead. I'd love to see them rematch in the Cheveley Park.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if there was a turnaround.
You fancy Libertango to...
Yeah.
Really?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think, if you were, you'd leave her in front, Senorita Bonita, or you'd steady up. You wouldn't give her a rabbit to chase, because she's all speed. And the jockey on board had to really harness that. But we'll see how she gets on in the morning. I'm not sure, we might never get soft ground again. But if it's a soft ground morning, would you fancy Senorita Bonita?
I don't know. I think Senorita Bonita's got a better turn of foot. I know Libertango was good, but I thought the way she finished her race off at Newmarket showed that she is a very... I mean, they're both very good fillies, but I just fancy...
Don't forget about the third as well, Always an Angel, because she was
ran on really well.
Right behind them. I think only like sort of a short head behind Libertango. That was only 9 days after making her debut at Fairy House as well, so she stepped forward massively. I imagine a few of these will run in the Lowther before, hopefully, the Cheveley Park later on in the year.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the 3-year-olds and older horses as well. The Bahrain Trophy, which of course last year produced Scandinavia. Point of Law, seeing off Galleon and Dalmaro. That was a turnaround in the form from the Queen's Vase. Do we think that we've seen a big contender for the Ledger? Any of those, Martin?
I think in terms of the Ledger, I would probably favour Galleon, just stepping up in distance. Mile 7.5. Point of Law obviously turned that form around, as you say, with Dalmaro from Ascot. He was ridden a lot closer to the pace by James at Newmarket, but he still travelled a little bit keen. I just question his real stamina for a Ledger. You know, that long straight at Doncaster, you'll have to be holding on for him. Where Galleon, to me, is a horse that really just keeps staying. He settles much better. And in those type of races, especially with a 3-year-old, you need them to switch off early. So if they were to line up in the Ledger, I would fancy Galleon to turn that around.
Well, Point of Law is 10-1 for the St Ledger behind Christmas Day, who's the favourite. These are the Bet365 prices. Galleon is 12s and Dalmaro 20s. Of the three, who do you think would be the best for the St Ledger at this stage?
I mean, at the prices, I'd probably chance Dalmaro. I thought he was the most inconvenienced by the fact that it was a bit of a crawl and sprint. They had a finishing speed percentage of 111%. I just thought Point of Law was in the best position to make that challenge. I agree with Martin. I think he won it because of a turn of foot as opposed to actually stamina.
Yeah.
You'd imagine down the line all three of them would be running in the race because they do all look Ledger types. They've ran in the Queen's Vase, they've ran in the Bahrain Trophy. You'd imagine they'll head to the Voltigeur and then head there. If you look back at Gosden's route, he's now won this a record 6 times. Mars Marvel in 2011 went straight to the Ledger after winning this. I imagine we'll see Point of Law again. He's a contender, but I do think he does still need to prove his stamina.
I thought Alderman was a bit disappointing.
Yeah, never really just sat at the back and never really got... Dalmaro went past him and he didn't
show anything because he ran such a good race in the Derby. And straight after the race, Pat Dobbs said, this horse could win the Ledger.
The Derby's taken out of a few horses.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's possible that... Well, we'll find out. Maltese Cross is going to run later today, is it? Yeah.
Yep.
We had the Princess of Wales Stakes, which went the way of Rebels Romance. Obviously, everyone was very happy to see Rebels Romance back, but there was a little bit of a chat about Arabian Crown and how tenderly handled he was in the closing stage. From a jockey's point of view, Martin, did you watch that race going, James could have done a bit more on Arabian Crown?
I did. Watching it live, I never thought that, but then I read some of the comments, especially on social media, so I watched it back. And I've thought anybody who said that, I've probably got a right to say that because it did look like James was tenderly handling him. But if I put myself in his position, and I had to read his mind, he's thinking Rebels Romance has gone by him, and he's going to keep going away from him because he's rated. What is he rated? He's rated 14 pounds better. And I think he thought once he headed him and he went half a length up, he thought he was going to keep getting away from him. So he's not going to give his horse Arabian Crown a really hard time to finish, a bit closer in second. But Rebels Romance didn't get away, did he?
No.
He seemed to get a little bit tired. He hadn't run for quite some time. So yeah, I don't think Arabian Crown could have got back up and beat him. But that's up for debate when the jockey is kind of like, not just hands and heels and not over hardening.
I think it's a case of what effort is the jockey making. If you've had a bet on Arabian Crown and your jockey's accepted the situation before the situation's actually unfolded, it's irritating, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a fair comment, and you couldn't disagree with anybody who says that. James, he's not broken any rules. No. He rode the horse out. He just put his whip down. But personally, I think he thought Rebels Romance was just going to keep getting away from him, and he didn't. And then it was like, for optics-wise, it didn't look great. But he's broken no rules, and yeah, you can see why people would be feeling aggrieved. But I guess Rebel's Romance was well backed, and everyone, including me and you, I know he's one of your favourite horses. He's one of mine. Great to see him win again.
He's a lovely horse. What was your view of the ride?
Similar, to be honest. Yeah, I thought Rebel's Romance was going to go on and win his race, and yeah, probably that lack of a recent run has found him out, and probably found James Doyle out on the runner-up. But just a magnificent horse, over £12 million in prize money, 22 wins from 32 starts. Godolphin didn't have the best record in that race. They'd had Dayar and Massar both beaten at odds on, having won the Derby the previous year. And I know you're a big fan of Convergent. I don't know what you think. Give him a break and bring him back in the autumn, because that was another disappointing run.
Yeah, I mean, they were saying that the run at Epsom, the conditions were against him. Well, he's had different conditions at Newmarket, so it looks like he's just gone the wrong way in 2 runs. But it's just 2 runs, I know. Both at decent levels, so one Coronation Cup and the Prince of Wales. But it's too bad. It's just too bad. He was almost pulled up at Epsom and almost pulled up again here. Yeah. And I thought the early part of the race actually unfolded really nicely, and then he's just cut out very quickly. So there's clearly issues to be dealt with him. But up until when he won at Newbury, he looked so good.
Yeah, because you've also had a couple come out of the Coronation Cup and win. Obviously, Calandagan has won, Illinois have won, who both were given an easy time since they were beaten. So yeah, I thought Convergent would be a big threat to Rebel's Romance.
Yeah, but that was very disappointing.
Wasn't the case.
What would you do with Rebel? I'm thinking about what race. I mean, do you just go, right, we'll go for the Breeders' Cup again, that'll be our target with Rebel's Romance?
I know he might step forward fitness-wise from that run, first run since he won in Dubai. It didn't strike me as a Group 1 performance. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to Germany for that Group 1. He's won twice. Yeah. He's probably, on that performance, he's still able to win that race. But I love the horse, but I don't think he's at his best anymore. Can he win what we would term, a proper Group 1? I don't think so on that. I mean, he beat Fort George, who was beating a short head in Saratoga on Saturday. He's a progressive type. But I think his best days are behind him. You know, he's still capable of winning group races and a Group 1 in Germany. That's where I would put him.
All right. Any ideas for Rebel's Romance?
Yeah, I mean, brilliant horse. He's now 8 though, and that was, although he won, that wasn't one of his stellar performances.
Genuinely, how good would it have been if he'd gone over hurdles? Just, 1st of April, Charlie Appleby should be saying.
I didn't expect you to say that.
No, I mean, he's a gelding. He could have had a go over hurdles.
Run in the Arc.
Well, I mean, Ethical Diamond won the Breeders' Cup turf, and so think the other way around.
Why do you ring Charlie and suggest it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying.
Or Sheikh Mohammed.
3 low-key runs at Toaster, and then get a handicap mark and head for the county hurdle.
I was saying Fred Winter. No, Fred, not the Fred Winter. Anyway, enough of jesting about. But I'm just thinking sometimes everyone just goes right. You go flat to hurdles, or you can go with a horse that's already achieved quite a lot. You can go the other way, Yeah. Gold Cup winner did it.
You must have Sheikh Mohammed's number. Give him a call.
He's blocking me at the moment. Can we talk about the Falmouth Stakes next? And Blue Bolt beating Precise, and obviously Precise was well fancied to win. I think a few people pointed out about the Lake Victoria precedent going into that race. Well, Blue Bolt I thought was massively impressive, and I don't think any fluke about that win.
No, brilliant performance, brilliant ride I thought as well, because they had Vermosa in there in order to make the pace for Precise, and Colin Keane. Precise did what she has done on the last few starts, had been slightly awkward from the stalls, and that just meant that Ryan was slightly on the back foot, and Colin Keane went straight in behind the pacemaker and thought, yep, thank you, the old Frankie Dettori, I'm going to use your pacemaker for mine. And yeah, I thought she was much the best towards the end. Precise probably now needs a step up to 10. You'd imagine looking at that, but they've obviously got Diamond Necklace for the Nassau Stakes as well. So whether she actually will, or whether they'll keep her at a mile for races like the Matron, I'm not so sure. But Blue Bolt was brilliant, a great bit of campaigning, because they deliberately went to Royal Ascot without a penalty, then headed here, and now they can go and tilt at bigger stuff for the remainder of the season.
Did you look at the result and think that's very good from Blue Bolt, or that's a bit disappointing from Precise, or somewhere in between?
I don't think Precise was disappointing. She's just taken on an older filly, a 4-year-old, who is just absolutely peaking. Blue Bolt has just improved all year, brilliantly trained by Andrew, as Steve said. Yeah. I mean, how strong does she travel, Blue Bolt? She looked like winning from halfway.
Yeah.
I don't think Precise has lost anything in defeat. She just met a 4-year-old who's really going places. It was a fantastic performance on Blue Bolt, and as you say, Colin used a pacemaker. There was no excuses. It wasn't a false run race. Venosa set a good gallop. He got a good slot, but she was the last one off the bridle, Blue Bolt. She did drift left under pressure a touch. I know she'd probably be aimed at a Breeders' Cup Fillies and Mares towards the end of the year. She's got a bit to prove on the stamina front, as far as I'm concerned, a little bit. But let's see what she can do between now and then. I mean, the Matron Stakes was mentioned, but I just feel she's just going to get better and better, Blue Bolt. Yeah. I thought it was a massive performance.
Just trying to find her prize for the filly and mare turf. Blue Bolt 92, Precise 72. I mean, do you think Precise will be better going up in trip?
Possibly. I think she will. She'll do more progression in her, and I think there'll be more going up in trip, where I'm not so sure with Blue Bolt. But, you know, we've still got a large chunk of the season left to see how that transpires. But Blue Bolt travels so strongly and so well. I just don't know how far and distance she'll get.
Yeah, because like those 1 mile fillies races and mares races, they're there really, aren't they? Like the Rothschild, the Matron, the Sun Chariot.
Yeah.
They're all there. So.
Yeah. It's just with Precise, given the fact that they mooted going to the Oaks with her. She gave the impression as a 2-year-old that she would stay further, didn't she, this year? And just get the feeling that she's got more to come, as Martin says, over further. Other good races taking place over the last week, and as Martin pointed out at the very start, Ascot in York, etc. Martin, what else would you like to mention from the week just gone?
The Summer Mile at Ascot.
Please.
Always a guide for the Sussex and other races. Interesting, Zeus Olympius taking on Holloway Boy, and I thought it was just it was the horses taking each other on from the Queen Anne again. But I said this the day before, it's going to be a different complexion to the race because it's on the round track, and I think that was proven. It was a slow run race to start with, and Zeus Olympius just turned the form around with more thunder, just being in the right place at the right time. I thought it was a brilliant ride to get first run, and on that round track it can be so difficult, even with a small field.
Yeah. Well, if that was a brilliant ride on Zeus Olympius, could Kieran Fallon have done more on More Thunder?
He will look back and think yes, because it looked like on paper he was on the best horse, and on the straight track he would have won. He just takes a bit of time to pick up More Thunder, but he was drawn to store 1.
Yeah.
And
what are you going to do?
You know, I'm sure unless you make the running, and that's the only way to take out the element of the race going south for you. You drop in behind the leaders, but then you're just stuck there for the whole race, and you have to wait until everybody else goes before you can go. So I'm sure Kieran would have worked out in his head before the race what he was going to do, and then afterwards he'd be thinking, what should I have done?
Yeah.
But ultimately, they've got to either ride him handier, put in a pacemaker, or go up and trip.
Okay.
Because that will keep happening on a round course, in my opinion, with More Thunder.
Maybe Sir Michael was right, that he is a minor quarter horse. Just saying. I mean, that's where
There's every chance. He just lacks that gear, and the straight mile suits him because they get racing early, and then he gets off. You know, he comes off the bridle early, but then gets through the flat spot. We're on a sharp turning track. You can't do that.
Okay. What else would you like to mention from the week just gone?
Bunbury Crook.
Yeah.
Good.
Ayalta, Ian Williams again.
Ian Williams. Is he one of the shrewdest trainers around? He's got to be.
Such a good target trainer when he's firing and won at something.
Well, he came in off a pound lower than when he won. He was beating the nose last year by More Thunder, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he had that run at Newmarket just to set him right, and he took home the big pot. I mean, I put him up. He was favourite, but it just looked. Sometimes when something just looks perfect, it is. And with Ian Williams, I don't think there's any better trainer. Like you say, getting them right for that day and having a target and achieving it.
Okay. Anything else, or you covered all the main horses or the main?
I think pretty much.
The races that you wanted to.
Maybe Carl Burke's horse won this Henry Cecil Stakes. Nice type.
Yes, Shayham.
Yeah, I thought he finished really strongly. He was a bit unlucky. Was it the German Guineas? I watched him.
Title roll, boosted the form.
Boosted the form, and he should have won that. So Shayham, I don't know where we place him. He probably isn't top level Group 1 miler, but he's not far short, is it? So I'll be interested to see where they go with that. I mean, what would you think, Steve?
Yeah.
Next targets?
Yeah, try Group 3, Group 2, something like that. But I mean, all I did watching Cheyenne win was look back at that D Stakes from Chester, and it's just worked out unbelievably well, hasn't it? Constitution River then won the French Derby and the Eclipse. Yeah. You then had Generic, then won a Royal Ascot handicap. Yeah. Then the third was Golden Story, who then won the Cocked Hat. Like, we looked at that day and thought, it's a slightly disappointing turnout.
Yeah.
Constitution River was entitled to win
anything.
it. Yeah. And actually, the form of that has just worked out incredibly well.
Yeah. Okay, can't think of exactly the right race for Cheyenne, but I wouldn't be surprised if they took in something serious.
When's the Joel Stakes on the Rolling Mile? Is that?
That's towards the back end of the season.
Yeah, because that's a Group 2.
I could see him in a Lennox maybe.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got speed.
Or maybe at York, getting on the front end in that Group 1 race.
The City, the
new Group 1
City
Eagle
York,
meeting. Just send him on from the front as a front runner, because he had them on the stretch a long way out at Newmarket.
Satano Reeve will win that.
Wow. Okay. He's not going for the Sprint Cup then.
No.
You've spoken to connections.
Not yet, but I'm going to tell him. I think he could step up to 7.
He can step up. So he stayed on night. Yeah.
A lot of class.
Yeah. Okay, that's
throwing a curveball there, haven't you?
Completely left field. Anything else from the last week?
Yeah, Flan Sunner won a novice race at Ascot under a penalty. Go back and watch it if you haven't already. Beat Mysterious Times, who's a solid yardstick, but he's now favourite for the Jim Crack at York over 6. It's a Simon and Ed Christmas horse. It was so impressive. By the look of your faces, you haven't watched the replay back.
But I have.
Oh my God.
Many a time.
I haven't seen it, but this is the thing. We've had all that race on Saturday. Yeah. Today's Tuesday. It's going to take us till Thursday till we catch up on everything that happened.
Yeah, I was keen on Mysterious Times because I was at Newmarket at the time that you finished 3rd previously before that, and it was in receipt of, I think, £7 under a penalty, and Flan Sunner was just so impressive.
Did you see the Windsor run before?
Yeah.
He was very good that day. And quite often, the second run under a penalty, a horse might just win and still, but take away the impression. He's only enhanced it after that.
Really exciting.
I text Jack after the race, who rode him, Jack Mitchell, and I went, "What is that you've just ridden?" And he just sent me a rocket emoji back. So I'm hoping he's ridden in both his starts. So he is at the top of the market for the Jim Crack, isn't he?
And given you've got horses that have won group races this weekend that are kind of in behind him in the betting, that just shows how impressive he was.
Plenty of speed in the pedigree as well. So much speed. He's definitely 6 furlongs, no more. Flan Sunner, yeah, definitely. Anything else?
The Secret Adversary was good for Fozzie Stack winning a European Group 1 over in the Prix Jean Prat. I didn't think there was any fluke about it. I know there was a bit about the draw. I think stall 1 beat stall 2, who beat stall 3, etc. But I thought True Love had every chance to go past if she was good enough. That might raise slight question marks about the form, obviously with Precise finishing second, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, I didn't have him down as being this good at the start of the season.
Do you know what I loved about that performance? The fact that Christoph decided, and I'm presuming connections, decided to change the tactics. They'd been holding him up and getting him to settle. Yeah. And he said, no pace, let's make the running. And he actually pricked his ears in front, settled, and produced a personal best. So, given that they know that now going forward, they can...
Well, apparently Christoph said to them in the paddock beforehand, I want to make the running. And they said, OK, fine, just don't get beat.
Well, brilliant.
That's what Fozzie Stack said in the
But that's what top jockeys do. And it used to drive me mad. So many trainers, they tie you down, and you say, but there's no pace. And we've got a story about that, haven't we?
So this happened to you before, hasn't it, Martin? What was the most famous time that this happened?
I'm not impersonating.
Don't do the impression. But
the late, great Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum. I rode for him. I rode, what was he called? Mubtaka. Yeah, he finished second in Arc, riding him in a Group 3 at Newbury. And he'd had a load of horses disappointing over that weekend. And he just said to me in the paddock, sir, we'll win this. I'll just make the run and he'll just gallop these into the ground. He's too good for these, even the age he was. And he said that too many of his horses have been up the front and run out of petrol. So he just said, hold him up. And I was like, I can't hold him up. So I asked him again, asked him 3 times for permission, and he basically, wouldn't have it. So I said to Marcus de Gonan, what am I going to do? He went, you're on your own, do what you think. So obviously, I didn't make the run early, but I sat right on the pace and then kicked early. And he won. But he still wasn't happy with me.
I think that was one of the first stories Martin ever told when we were doing the Friday Club back in the day on Racing TV.
The worst thing is,
he did an impression of Sheikh Hamdan, which is absolutely magnificent and spot on. I actually thought we were in the room with Shake Hand down. And you repeated the impression again, didn't you?
Yeah, like an idiot. I thought, oh, well, next time I go to Dubai, I won't be coming back. But fortunately, Shake Hand had a great sense of humour anyway. But on that occasion, I disobeyed instructions and sued me on world-class rider. And sometimes that's what you need to do. You stand firm and say, you know, I did it with Piledriver when I won Epsom with him, the Coronation Cup. I persuaded them to let me do what I thought was best. And the best jockeys ride like on instinct rather than try and plan everything, because it doesn't work out that way.
Yeah. Well, apparently he'd gone through the race, thought there's not enough pace in it. He's going to just make the running, and he did. And like you say, he's been keen in previous races, and in the Guineas, he was way too keen, but yet ran all right. Just wondering, was it at Ayr he got beaten last year at a really short price? He is a very smart horse, a secret adversary. I'm going to mention one other, I'd obviously written down Flan Sunna. The other one I'm going to mention is Mararua.
Yeah.
For Jer Lyons, who is by Frankel. She made a winning debut at Leopardstown. She's in the Moyglare, but she had a wide draw. Plenty of use made of her, but she's very impressive. She's from the Red Letter, Red Impression side of the family. She's a bit. Look, I only saw it in but she looks a big, scopy filly, and she looks very exciting. So wherever she turns up next, but her and Flan Sunna were the two horses that really got the excitement levels going for what they could be for the rest of this year and going forward. Should mention Rami, who won the John Smith's Cup. I think he was still green. I mean, when Hand of God came to challenge, he seemed to find a little bit more again, and he got to the front and pricked his ears, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think he's quite...
He's so much potential, hasn't he, going forward?
Yeah. Red Orange won the listed race. Mount Atlas also won at York. And Flora Bermuda bounced back from that disappointing... Obviously, what happened at Ascot.
Yeah. She was last at Ascot, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Great to see her come back, because that's the track she normally thrives at, Ascot.
Yeah, but she had that... Was it the stalls messed about? And, unfortunate. But she was very good. OK, nothing else from... We're going to close the books on our racing recap. OK, books closed on this week's racing recap. Now, before we get into our weekend preview, just to let you know that our sponsor, Bet365, have a best odds guaranteed offer. It's available on every single UK and Irish race from 8 a.m. on the day of the race. And if you take a price and the SP is bigger, Bet365 will pay you at the bigger odds. Full T's and C's can be found on the website. So we're going to cast our minds forward to what's coming up this weekend. And the big race is the Irish Oaks. We have an assumption of what's going to run. We believe that Thundering On is going to line up. Earthshot is heading for the race for William Haggis. And we believe that Sparanua for Jim Bolger will be supplemented for it. So with all that in mind, Martin, who do you think is your likeliest winner at this stage, considering all the uncertainties?
Earthshot. I was impressed with her at Ascot. She's only ran, 4 times, and she's got better and better. I thought it was a good performance in Ribblesdale. It wasn't a wide margin, but she knows how to scrap, and she's tough. She's a lovely big filly. I think she's just, if William Haggis goes there, I think she's improving. I just don't know what to make of Thundering On. I mean, how easy did she win the Oaks? Yeah. But was it a one-off? I mean, I actually think the ground was against her in the Pretty Polly. I know it was dropping back to 10 furlongs, but she didn't look comfortable on the ground. It's not going to be any slower on Saturday, is it? It's still going to be fast ground. So I think for me, I'd want to be with Earthshot. Yeah.
She stayed on so strongly at the end of the Ribblesdale, and also turning in the straight with, there was the loose horse as well, and she ended up actually further wide than originally intended. James Doyle ended up having, I think, 6 or 7 horses wide, whereas the runner-up had the run round the inside, Johanna Walsh. I think she was much, even though she won the race, I think she was much better than the rest of her rivals in the Ribblesdale. I'm with her as well. Yeah,
I thought you could upgrade that win by Earthshot. I thought you could arguably upgrade Thundering On's victory in the Oaks, though, because everything that day was running from, winning from the front, and Thundering On was settled in last, comes through and wins in impressive style. It was just hard to make of her run in the Pretty Polly, because you thought that it should have suited dropping down to 10. I know there's a couple of bits that have come out afterwards about it. I mean, they're both joint favourites. If you have a line through Legacy Link and you believe that she ran to the same level on those, she finished 3 3/4 lengths behind Thundering On in the Oaks, and she finished 7.5 lengths behind Earthshot in the Ribblesdale. For me, I thought it came slightly too quickly after the Oaks, so I wouldn't read that literally. It's going to be interesting to see what Aidan O'Brien runs. Obviously, Amelia Earhart was their big hope for the Oaks. Sugar Island ended up doing best of those, finishing third. I really like her, and she's got the Curragh form as well, so she's won 2 of her 3 starts at the Curragh previously.
Yeah.
She beat Thundering On in the final start last season as well. It'd be interesting to see who Ryan Moore rides, because he obviously rode Amelia Earhart in the Oaks. Sugar Island, I thought would be suited by the Curragh. I imagine they'll probably be prominent on her again, and I'd half back her in the hope that Ryan Moore switches on to Sugar Island.
Okay. I should mention the Jim Bolger horse again. Anybody interested in Sparrow Noor, unbeaten in 3 starts?
Well, this is Jim Bolger supplementing a horse. You can't look the other way, and it's hard to assess her on what she's done, but she was a good winner at Cork last time. Again, she was quite determined and tough and gritty to get up and win a neck. I think there's going to be a lot of improvement on a bit more of a galloping track. The 3 tracks she's run on so far are quite tight, and she seems to hit a flat spot and then come through it and gallop strongly to the line. So there's going to be a lot more improvement to come. She's a bit of a dark horse for sure. Well, she's not a dark horse because she's been supplemented, but I think there's going to be more. Yeah,
I thought she was a danger to the Principals or Earthshot, who I like. I thought Sparrow Noor would be my backup bet if I had to have one.
Diamond Necklace not going to run. Is she going to?
I think she'll wait for the NASA Stakes.
Yeah. Okay, that's the Irish Oaks. The Super Sprint is due to take place this weekend at Newbury. Where are we looking at the market? Bint Archange, or Archange, is the 11-4 favourite. Vollering 6-1, Etienne 7s, Angels Lane 9, Roll the Dice Baby 9s, 10s, bar those. That's all with Bet365. What do you like here, Steve?
Yeah, William Buick's jumped up on Bint Archange. She's top rated in this with an official rating of 94. She carries 8 stone 12. I can completely see the case. Won 2 of his 4 starts, including a listed race at Sandown. So based on weights and measures, obviously for this race, based on how much they cost, etc., I can see why Bint Archange is favourite. You always have to respect Richard Hannon runners in this previously. Sean Levy's jocked up and Roll the Dice Baby. Yeah. She finished second behind Armour Supreme at Goodwood on her debut. That rival since finished second in a listed race at York. And was only beaten 4 lengths in the Queen Mary at Royal Ascot. Roll the Dice Baby then made all to win at Goodwood by 3 lengths. She only carries 8 stone 10, so will technically have about £10 to find with Bint Archange, but has only had the 2 runs, is definitely progressing, and obviously Richard Hannon is an absolute genius at targeting one for this race. So yeah, for me, it'll be Roll the Dice Baby at around 8-9 to 1.
Okay, 9 to 1.
Yeah.
Bet365, Roll the Dice Baby. Named after John Gosden, obviously. Time to roll the dice. Who do you like here, Martin?
I think Richard Hughes' filly Bint Archange. She was so good at Sandown. She just brings a little bit of class, doesn't she? And at the weights, will she get a penalty for? Is she carrying 8-12 already? Yeah, she is carrying 8.
Yeah.
The weights are as published.
Yeah.
I mean, Hughesy thought she was going to win the Queen Mary, and he couldn't work it out why she didn't. I know Hughesy can get carried away, but she's quite a big, strong filly, and the listed win at Sandown, what was that, 12 days ago? I just think she's got a lot of class, and it looks like a good pot for her to win, and I think she'll win on that Sandown running. I like Richard Spencer's filly though, Etienne, by Raja Singh. Was well supported. Sorry, he's a colt, isn't he? Yes. He was well supported for his Newmarket debut over 6, and spent half the race trying to get him to drop the bridle and switch off, and then finish really strongly and wasn't beaten far. There'd be none of that over the Super Sprint at Newbury. They'll go flat to the boards, and Etienne will be able to switch off. I think he's got a bit of something about him. Was he 7 to 1, 8 to 1?
7 to 1. That's my selection. I think he was a bit hard done by. I think everyone was watching the other horse that was unlucky on the Godolphin horse.
Yeah.
And he was perhaps a bit more inconvenienced because the winner kept leaning over on Etienne. But also, do you like a good revenge movie?
Go on.
Well, you like a good revenge movie, don't you? There's nothing I love more watching on television.
I'm trying to think of one, but I watch
like Law-Abiding Citizen with Gerard Butler. That's a really good revenge movie. If you want to see justice served,
go on.
That's how you do it. Well, I actually backed Etienne's dam, Odyssey Girl, when she ran in the Super Sprint.
Really?
Back in 2019. So when I was looking at the race last night, so I remembered, and I went to look back at the race again, and I do remember feeling aggrieved that Odyssey Girl didn't get the cleanest runs. Got hampered just as Odyssey Girl was coming to make her challenge. She gets hampered, and if you watch the race back from 2019, which I did again last night, just as I'm a glutton for punishment, she would only finish on the heels of Lydia's, beating a couple of lengths, and would have gone very close to winning. Was very unlucky. So it's revenge time in the super sprint, as far as I'm concerned.
Etienne's going to get it back for you all these years later.
Family, it's like a bit like Game of Thrones type thing. Family revenge. It's coming up this Saturday.
You're a deep thinker, aren't you?
Well, that's what we do when we have lots of time on our hands to spare. Looking back at old races, remembering names of horses that you lost your money on, and thinking, oh yeah, well here we go. Etienne, the family owe me some cash, so I will take it back this weekend. And like I say, apart from everything else, he ran a really good race at Newmarket on his debut. Horses either side, first and second, had both had runs as well. So
it was a messy race, wasn't it?
And he
didn't get a clean shot.
Yeah. And was being pushed further wide, and so Etienne for me. Other good races, there's the Hackwood, which actually, you look at the top three in the market for the Hackwood, and you could make a really strong the top four, in fact, more than that. Marvel Man's a 72 favourite, or 72 joint favourite with Soldier's Tree, who was obviously placed in the Wokingham. Kind of Blue 4-1, Bin Haria 6s, Saida Darian 13-2, Symbol of Honour 9s and 10s bar those. What do you like here, Steve?
So I looked into 3-year-old sprinters and how they've got on over the weekend, because I thought that might give me a bit of an angle into this. So if you look at the July Cup, there were 4 3-year-olds in an 11-runner race. They finished 2nd, 4th, 5th and 7th, so they ran quite well. City Walls Stakes at York, Aspect Island, finished 2nd. Yeah. As a 3-year-old, the Summer Stakes at York, even though Spicy Mark disappointed, the 3-year-olds finished 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. So actually, since they've stepped out of 3-year-old company against the elders, the 3-year-olds have actually done quite well. Song of the Clyde is the only 3-year-old in this race. Defied odds of 18-1 to beat Albert Einstein in the Carnarvon Stakes there. Was only beaten 4 lengths when 7th in the Commonwealth Cup as well last time. I thought he was quite overpriced at 10-1. Obviously, it looks a strong field. You've got Soldier's Call, who's placed in a Woking. You've got Danny Muscat back on Kind of Blue, who should be well suited by this. But 3-year-olds have quite a good record in this. You'll remember old Elite Status won this a couple of years ago as 3-year-olds.
Kind of Blue in this, isn't it?
So, for me, I'm taking a chance with Song of Clyde.
OK, Song of the Clyde, 10-1 with Bet365 for Hackwood. What do you like, Martin?
I agree with Steve, Song of the Clyde. I think we've got some really classy sprinters at the older horse at the top, but they come with just, mixed messages. Marvel Man, you give a chance. Soldier's Tree is interesting, isn't he? He's only had 5 runs, 3. He was 3rd to Almeric at Salisbury. Kind of Blue, I scratch my head with him every time I see him run. He can be brilliant one day. He's like Frankenstein, isn't he? You just don't know what you're getting, but I think Song of the Clyde is very consistent. He wasn't beaten far in the Commonwealth Cup at all. Yeah. And he likes Newbury. He's won that win earlier in the year. It was a listed race he won. Yeah. Clive Cox's horses are coming good, I think, as well. Yeah, I'm with Song of the Clyde, especially at that price. Because he's what he is. He's solid. And he's still improving as well. OK.
I like Soldier's Tree, because I don't think we've got any idea how good he is just yet. I think James Owen's still finding out about him. He's had 2 runs for the stable, you pointed out. Unlucky behind Almerac. With a cleaner run, he might well have beaten Almerac and Spy Chief, and then he ran a fine race in the Wokingham where he came down the middle. Double Rush came slightly more towards the stand side.
Carrying a lot of weight as well.
He was giving weight to the horses that finished closest to him.
He's interesting because he's unexposed.
Yeah, but I'm with you. I just don't know what to make of Kind of Blue. I thought he would run well at Ascot, but I thought he was disappointing.
He can win or finish last.
Yeah. OK, other good races coming up. There's good jumping at Market Raisin. There's some other good handicaps this weekend. What else would you like to mention, Steve? Yeah, the Steventon Stakes is quite a good race. You've got Persica favourite for that. It has a lofty rating of 114. He finished 2nd, beating a nose in the Diamond Stakes at Epsom, then finished 5th at Royal Ascot in the Wolverton, then finished 2nd behind Salal at Sandown. So he's unlucky not to have won so far. The latest 2 of those are at listed level, so this is definitely that. But Crown of Oaks is really interesting because he was so progressive last season. He ended up winning the Balmoral Handicap on his final start on Champions Day. And he was last of 7 in a Group C at the Curragh on his reappearance, so he does have to bounce back for that. But the fact that they went over for that race kind of makes me think that he's better than what he showed that day. So I'd probably be with Crown of Oaks in the Steventon Stakes. The Summer Hurdle
at Market Raisin's interesting. You've got Louis Veron there that heads the market for Dan, Harry Skelton and Brian Drew. Sent off favourite for all 3 starts so far this season. Beaten at odds on in a maiden hurdle, which was slightly disappointing, but that was by the 124 rated King Scholar, who followed up on his next start. Then he's won easily at Warwick and Stratford and runs here off a handicap debut off 124. No doubt have been a long-term target. It's about 3-1 with Bet365 for this. Yeah. And then just to keep an eye on the Railway Stakes over in Ireland, Aidan O'Brien's won it a record 15 times. But the last 2 of those have been with future classic winners, Henri Matisse and True Love. So it's going to be interesting to see what he declares. He's got the likes of Sun Goddess and Confucius and Carry the Flag. But whatever he runs in the Railway Stakes will likely be a short price, but will probably win.
Okay. And get all sorts of quotes for the classics for next year. Martin, what else do you have an eye on this weekend?
Well, Persica. I love him. I love that horse. And as Steve said, he was second to Seagull's 11 in the Diomed. And Seagull's 11 is just improving and improving. I mean, he ran a great race since, didn't he? A 5th in the Wolverton. You go back and watch the Wolverton from stall 16. Yeah. He had no right to finish where he did. He just keeps running well. He was second to Salal, who's really improving and impressive. Persica's just running well without getting his head in front. I think Saturday's his opportunity. And he loves to race on the front end. I think it really suits Newbury. It will do on that fast ground. I think he wins the first race on Saturday.
Okay. I like Marho Bay if he runs in that. I thought more conventional track. Obviously didn't run his race at Lingfield, then ran really well at Ascot. Would probably have won without getting checked, I thought. So I'd be keeping an eye on him. In the summer hurdle, Triple E Flyer is a horse I've been following, and he was back to winning ways on the flat at Kempton last time out, and he's 6-1, I think, for the summer hurdle, so I'll be keeping an eye on him. And then there's the Aphrodite Filly Stakes, which is a listed race at Newmarket. There's a horse called Naga, who will represent the Gosdens. Terrific pedigree, improved through handicaps. Ran behind Estrange and Kodana. Obviously, Kodana won. Estrange has been brilliant in the Pretty Polly. I'm trying to remember who finished second. The Wardar of Owen Burrows. Yeah. And Naga, I don't think she ran up to her best there, but I think she ran okay. She was back in 4th. And she's in the Filly Stakes, that listed race at Newmarket. She has won at Newmarket before, so I don't see any issues with the track for her there, and I still think there's more to come from her. So those are the horses that I've added to the list of races to look forward to. Okay, we will get to our best bets in just a moment, but before we do, just to let you know about Bet365's position payout offer. Go to any horse race that offers the position payout market. Each selection will display a return for finishing 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and so on. Place your bet, and the higher your selection finishes, the higher your payout. At T's and C's apply. So, to our best bets we go. And Martin Dwyer is the guest, so Martin Dwyer goes first.
Well, I've got 2. One I've already spoken about, Persica, in the 155, the Stevenson Stakes. 1.25 mile listed. I think it's just right up his street. I think he showed a bit of improvement when he stepped up to 1.25 mile. He's just a solid type. He's been running well behind really good horses. Seagull's 11 in the Diomed, and from a wide draw at Royal Ascot. I think Saturday will be his time to shine, and I think it's his race for the taking.
Excellent. Persica. Do you have another one, did you say?
I've got one more.
Oh, do you want to go with it now?
Yeah.
Or you want to save it? Or
well, you tell me.
I don't know. Should we do like we do in the
left
movies?
Field.
Yeah?
Bit left field.
Oh, left field. Should we circle back?
It's not coming over jumps, is it?
Definitely not. Definitely
that
not.
would be left field, though.
Rebels Romance in the summer hurdle. Okay, save it.
Okay.
Steve.
Mine is coming over jumps.
Okay.
And is in the summer plate. Harry Cobden has won the previous 3 renewals with 3 different horses. He's down to ride Soul Icon this year for Kieran Burke, who's second behind Sure Touch in 2024 of this race off a mark of 137. The only other time that Harry Cobden has ridden him, he beat Edward Stone in the Grade 2 Desert Orchid Chase off a mark of 143. He hasn't won since, but as a result has dropped down to a mark of 141. And he's 8-1 with Bet365 for the summer plate. So, Soul Icon for me.
Okay, and I've already alluded to the horse that I'm tipping. I've waited 7 years to get my money back from Odyssey's Girl. I'm going for Etienne in the Super Sprint. I'm really encouraged with his debut. And I suspect that this has been a plan for him for some time, considering the family trait. Etienne for the Richard Spencer team in the Super Sprint, 7-1 with Bet365 to win that race. Martin, you get the final word on best bet.
Yeah, all the good racing up and down the country, but can I go to Doncaster for the 750?
Of course you can.
A 0-75.
This is on Saturday.
Saturday evening. A 0-75, over a mile and a half. A horse called Zerna, trained by Julia and Shelley Burke. I was at Epsom last week when he won, and off a handicap debut of 72, and I thought he won with plenty in hand. He won a length and a half.
Wow.
He was second the time before at Newmarket to a really decent handicapper. This is a well-handicapped horse. He's gone up £4, and they've got him in off top weight into a 0-75. He's off 76. Well-handicapped horse. He'll win again.
Okay, so Zerna, Persica, Soul Icon and Etienne. That's the lucky 15, or the Yankee, I don't know how you want to play it, for the weekend. Excellent stuff, thank you very much. What's the plan for the rest of the week, Martin?
Back at Epsom Thursday. In the meantime, I'm going to watch Spain frustrate France this evening.
What will happen?
I think it'll be 1-0 Spain. They'll probably score in the 96th minute or something.
Is France not the best side in the World Cup?
They are, but Spain know how to frustrate it like a game of chess.
What amazing analysis. Thank you, Martin.
I should be doing Wimbledon.
Yeah. And England, Argentina?
Yeah, I don't know whether that's left a mark on the players. It was a tough game, wasn't it, at the altitude and the heat, but...
Mentality, though. Good mentality.
Yeah. I mean, Jude Bellingham. How many children born this year are going to be named Jude? What's the price of that?
Yeah, well, it's a fair point. I mean, if they win it, yes, absolutely.
Even so, how brilliant's he been?
Yeah, he has been. What do you think will happen in the
semi-final? You could have got 6-5 a couple of months ago about him starting our first game.
Really?
When obviously there was talk about him not going to the World Cup.
That's ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
Who wins? Who gets to the final?
I think France will beat Spain, and I think we'll beat Argentina in a nervy
England final
1-0.
Penalties.
Not quite.
Penalties against Argentina.
I hope not penalties. I hope not penalties. No penalties, no hand of God.
Okay. And who wins it overall?
It's coming home, surely.
France will beat us in the final.
Oh. Okay. Well, one of us has to box someone along the way, so let's box France, shall we? Okay. Thank you both very much. You racing this week, Steve?
No, I've got various church services and sports days and all sorts of things the last week of school. So yeah.
Okay.
Got that to get through. Plus, I did go racing Thursday, Friday, Saturday last week.
Yeah. Get home and do some chores.
I know.
Well, thank you both for joining me. Thank you for watching this episode of Racing Weekly, brought to you by Oddschecker in association with Bet365. As always, if you like what you've seen or heard in this or any of our previous episodes, then leave us a kind review on Apple Podcasts or in the comments section on YouTube. We are back next week. Steve will be here in charge, looking ahead to the King George at Ascot. But from Martin, Steve, myself and the Racing Weekly team, bye-bye.